What's going on, guys? Welcome back to The Commodity. I'm Fez, and today we're taking a look at why is Canberra the capital city of Australia. This was suggested to me in my Discord. It says it's suggested by Dutchie Van Dungen. This will give you the reason why Canberra is the capital city. So thank you very much. If you want to suggest videos, link to my Discord will be down in the description. I want to say to Log S, the flooded croc country. I was going to check it out, but it's so freaking long. It's over an hour long. So unfortunately I did not look at that one, but it does also say probably don't want to put this on your, on a YouTube channel. But you could watch it and edit it down, I guess. Here's an off the track thing that doesn't get on the mainstream videos. So if you want me to do this, this would be a 3-part video. It might even be like a 4-part video, how long it is. Let me know down in the comments. I need to know enough people are wanting to watch it. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump into this one. Now I do have a video coming out next. It's about tipping in the US, so if you want to watch that, please check it out, because my US videos obviously never get very many views. I would appreciate it though. It intrigues me. That's why I wanted to do it. Thanks T Girl for suggesting that one. But let's go ahead and jump into this. Oh yeah, I'm headed, the goal is to get me to Australia. Where did I do my cell phone? It's not on me. So on the GoFundMe right now, I'm at $1,520. So thank y'all very much. If you would like to donate, link to the GoFundMe will also be down in the description. It keeps on doing this number, so let's keep it going. Thank y'all so much. It's much appreciated. If you can't afford it, don't do it. I won't be upset. I'll only love you. But let's go ahead and take a look at it.
Australia. It's a question. So what is the capital of Australia? It's a question fit for trivia nights. If you haven't been to Australia, or maybe even if you have, it's easy to assume that Sydney is the answer. Think iconic harbour, biggest and most visited city. Even within Australia, the capital city's reputation is swamped with stereotypes such as a soulless and boring city with no nightlife, the bubble of all bubbles, a town of public servants in protected jobs, and my personal favorite, a city full of roundabouts and frigid temperatures. For a country famous for its coastal cities and warm climate, how did a relatively small inland settlement get chosen as its capital city? When the 6 independent colonies decided to form the new Commonwealth of Australia in 1901, one of the first things on their to-do list was the selection of a location of the new capital. Fierce debates ensued between representatives of the colonies. The obvious choices were the 2 biggest cities, Melbourne and Sydney, but a few other cities such as Adelaide, Hobart, and Ballarat were also suggested. Melbourne and Sydney both have prominent seaports, and arguments were made that seaports were not ideal as they are vulnerable to enemy attacks from overseas, and that this...
I was going to say it might be dangerous to have it at a port or near a major port.
Exposure also made them at risk for diseases. These established cities also don't have the climate being sought by the pioneers of the Federation. The search is on for an inland capital with a bracing climate. More on that later.
It's too hot here. We need somewhere better. I just picture a bunch of snobs running the country. Oh my gosh.
George Reid, the New South Wales Premier at the time, a shrewd politician, used the clout of New South Wales being the motherland colony to argue that the federal capital has to be located in his home state.
Has to.
This won support at a quote-unquote secret premiers conference in Melbourne. However, there is a catch. The capital has to be at least 100 miles from Sydney. In the meantime, Melbourne would act as the interim capital. Later that year, the Royal Commission on Sites for the seat of government of the Commonwealth was formed. It's a mouthful, but so is the list of sites inspected and considered. Over 60 localities in New South Wales were promoted. Sites along the railway line from Sydney to Melbourne have an advantage of being accessible to both cities. Sites around Albury in the far south of the state were deemed to be too close to Melbourne, while sites such as Armidale and Tamworth were considered too far from Sydney and obviously further away from Melbourne. Over the next 8 years, federal capital leagues sprouted like mushrooms, and local politicians from a number of towns across New South Wales vied for their localities to be considered. Some promoted their towns to have magical proofs of local health and longevity, or have incredible variety of produce coming out of the soil. In 1902, senators and members of the House of Representatives took a series of tours to several sites. Come voting time for the Federal Territory Bill, the House of Representatives selected Chumul, a charming cattle district. But there was suspicion that the selection was more due to politics than merit, given that the runner-up Lyndhurst was considered too close to Sydney. The bill came to the Senate, who then voted for Bombala, likely motivated by the desire to stall the selection of the site. And stalled it was, for a compromise was not made and the bill eventually lapsed. After another 4 bills and 3 parliaments, the decision kept getting deferred. But over time, one side became the forerunner. Dalgety had many things going for it: the presence of the Snowy River, a location halfway between Sydney and Melbourne, and its bracing climate. Let's zoom in on that last criteria of climate, in particular, bracing climate.
I think it's funny that climate is such an issue. I doubt there was any climate reasoning for DC location. I think it was mostly location, geography was probably the primary reason, as it's like right there by all the 16 colonies. Obviously, it wasn't originally the where the capital was originally. I believe it was in Philadelphia originally, and then they eventually moved it because they didn't want it to be part of any state, which makes total sense. That's why it's its own entity. That's why it's a district as opposed to a state.
Federal officials were looking for a place with cooler temperatures than the average Australian coastal city for 2 possible reasons. In the early 20th century, there was a popular scientific belief, environmental determinism, which suggests that cooler climates were thought to have helped produce the best races with the best brains. A less controversial reason is that cold mountain air was thought to be good for the health and therefore recuperative.
Oh yeah, because that
Dalgety was on its way to be formally designated as a capital, but the New South Wales government thought it was too remote and instead rallied for sites closer to Sydney. Finally, in 1908,
because Canadians and Russians are the leaders of the free world,
a site which ticks all the right boxes was selected. Water supply by the Cotta and Molonglo rivers, picturesque mountains as fortification, just over 100 miles from Sydney, and of course a bracing climate. The Canberra site will be the location of the new capital. Over the next 100 years, the site would slowly and steadily build itself up to fulfill its role as the capital of the new federation, while launching 1,000 memes on the interwebs. 100 years back, it has also inspired hundreds of suggestions for its name. That list included Kookaburra, Wheatwool Gold, and Kangaroo. A couple of other imaginative names were Sid Mel per Adbris Ho and Mel Adney per Bain. A name was picked by the cabinet and was kept secret until it was officially unveiled by Lady Denman on 12 March 1930, declaring, "I name the capital of Australia Canberra. The accent's on the can."
So, weird beliefs. Obviously, science has changed over the years. So, it seems like, I mean, it's fine now. Obviously, nobody cares. But I just think it's funny. The reasoning behind it is what's really funny. To each his own. But what's really dumb is they're trying to make DC a state so it can vote. So I just say don't live in DC. So I mean, I get why they wouldn't want it to be in a major city. I wonder if they if it would make sense to do the same thing that we kind of did, where it's like in its own state or its own non what's the word I'm looking for? I can't even think. Where it's non-biased location, where it's not in any state or territory. So I think that would have made more sense. Like, make it like its own little space, and it has no control over the state that it's in. It is just there as its own entity, I guess. I don't know. Just thoughts. But guys, I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Obviously, this kind of information goes way above my head. I just think it's funny, the reasoning. The temperature, it's cold, so brilliance is going to grow here. I mean, unless you're chattering your teeth too much, then that's too cold. But guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe. If you want to help suggest videos, link to the Discord will be down below, as well as link to the GoFundMe will be down in the description below. So if you want to help support me and get me to the wonderful land of Oz, I would highly appreciate it. But until next time, peace.